Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to write an academic research paper. It's very important to know how to write a research paper. Okay, as Dr. Haidar said that you need it when you want to complete your study, master degree or PhD degree. I will talk about things in general, not in details. Then when I finish, I will give the turn to Dr. Haidar to explain one style, because we have so many styles. We as researchers write a paper, we have different styles that we can follow. Okay, so I will give the turn when I finish to Dr. Haidar to write or to explain this style. Uh, Number one, at the beginning. Of course, at the beginning you have to choose a topic. Okay, you know the steps. At the beginning, you have to choose a topic. Then you have to do certain things. Number one, or after number one, after choosing a topic, you have to create a schedule with deadlines for each step. You have steps. As I said, number one is what? Is choosing a topic. Second step here, we have what? We have here research for sources. When you have a topic, in your hand, it is time to what? To research for sources. To look, yes, come on. To look for sources. You can go to the internet, to libraries, okay, to get books, journals. This is number one. Number two, then we can say, read them. Read these sources. You have to read these sources and you have to take notes. When you read, you have to take notes, and you know how to take notes. Either write down them or you just take copy and paste. Copy and paste, you have to open folder, okay, Word, a Word, and you have to copy and paste the information from the source just to make what? To make a draft. First and last draft. Okay, very important. Research for sources, number one. Number two, read and take notes. And then third step is you have to what? To outline. To make an outline, which is what? Organizing information. You have to arrange your information. You have information, and now it is time to organize this information. And I wrote here, it is the third step, not the first. Sometimes when we give titles, topics to our students, and we ask them to make outline, they come the second day and they bring outline. So something wrong. Okay, as I said at the beginning, you have to search. Go to the internet, look for sources. 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. Then you have to read. It is not writing. We can say that how to read a research paper, how to read an academic research paper, instead of how to write. Because writing is the last step, not the first. Writing, immediately go and write. No, you have to look for sources, to take notes, read and take notes, and then you have to organize information. And number four, start writing. Then start writing. Okay, you have sources, you have notes, you read them, sources, you took notes, okay, then you make outline. You make an outline like a coach in the game. He has the players, and he, of course, before the game, he put what? He put an outline. You attacker, you defender, you have to do this, you have to do this. So it is like playing football here. You are like coach. When you start writing and when you finish writing, the second or the next step is you have to revise for completeness, conciseness, and clarity. You have to check. And the last step is edit and proofread. You have to proofread to see whether you make some mistakes in spelling, grammar. Okay, this is very important. These are general notes. When you go to the internet and when you find sources, you have to evaluate your sources. You have to what? Evaluate your sources. You have 2 points here how to evaluate. Number one, determine usefulness. You may find many sources, but if you are what? Useful. Few are useful. Not all of them are useful. Few are useful. You may find a book, but this book is not useful for you. So leave it. So it's number one, determine usefulness. Number two, evaluate credibility. Okay, which is being trusted. You must use credible, trusted sources. It is very important to use what? Trusted sources. Not every source is trusted. You can go to the internet and find so many people who write about your topic, but few are trusted. I mean by this that when you find a source, okay, when you find a source, you have to check the name of the author, year, journal, the name of the journal, or a book, the name of the book, pages, numerated. These sources are trusted. But sometimes when you search on the internet, you find just information. Maybe someone wrote this, maybe a student, maybe someone who likes, for example, English, wrote about pronunciation, for example, about the grammatical mistakes, grammatical errors. So this is not a trusted source. So you have to take trusted sources. Avoid you are also okay. URLs. We said URLs.
Yes.
You are yes. These are webs, especially untrusted. Okay, not trusted. But sometimes they are trusted. For example, when you go to Cambridge University and in this web, which is related to Cambridge University, maybe something written by a professor. Okay, for example, كلية Imam Callum College, Dr. Haidar wrote something about literature, uh, an essay, an article, 2 or 3 pages. This is something trusted. Okay, but when something which has no title, no author, you have to avoid this. Use your sources. When you start writing, how to use your sources. صوتي واضح بالأخير؟ علي. Use your sources. Okay. Number one, try to use a minimum of 5 sources about one headline. When you divide your paper, the body of the paper, for example, you have introduction, you have then headlines. Okay. For example, you write about metaphor, or for example, you write about phonetics. For example, what is phonetics? What are the types of phonetics? Place of articulation and manner of articulation. These are headlines. When you write about them, try to include 5 sources, 4 sources, 3 sources, okay? About 1,000 words. 1,000 words. To vary your information. Different. Never depend here, on 1 to 2 sources. Sometimes you find headline, a student writes about this headline 2 pages. But when you check, you find only from one source. From, for example, George Yule, Study of Language. No, try to use more than one. Try to use 2, more than 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very important. Why? To show to the reader that you have read the sources, you have read the different sources, you have read them, and now you can make a harness between these or those sources, those writers. Not only one. It means that you just copy and paste. Very important. Number 2, when taking notes, choose a method that works best for you. Okay? As I told you, when you take notes, for example, use sheets of paper, you can write pen, and sheets of paper, you can write note. For example, phonetics, you have this headline, phonetics. So, what is the definition of phonetics? When you read sources, for example, you read 10 or 20 sources. You find in 10 sources definition of phonetics. You have to take the note. Yes. This is, for example, by Peter Roach. Okay? Phonology. You write the definition. Okay? Then another source you find this. You write. This is one method. I advise you to avoid this method because this method is traditional. It's very old, and you have to use this copy and paste folders on your PC, laptop, computer, personal computer. You have to copy and paste. When you find something, okay, PDF, for example, you copy for example, definition, the types, and put them, okay, in this folder, just to make draft. Okay, it saves here time and effort. Very important. This is a number 2. Very, very important. Taking note. It saves time and effort. Number 3, you can use a pencil to add some notes. You can use pencil. You can use what here. These are, how can we say that? These are the secrets. If someone wants to write research paper, secrets how to shorten the time. And instead of taking, for example, 3 or 4 months, you can take 1 month to finish a lot of things. You can color the information. Okay, like me, for example, I color here. When you use a source, you can make color. For example, these are the definition, these are the types, the characteristics, in this way. Very important here, when you start writing, you have to ask your teacher, your professor, your supervisor, which style should be used for my paper? Which style? I write haphazardly, randomly, or there is a style that I have to follow? Of course, there is a style. Okay? Sorry. There is a style you have to follow when writing research paper. We have so many styles, but here you have 3 main styles. Number 1, MLA style, which is Modern Language Association, APA style, American Psychological Association, and Turabian style or Chicago style. Okay, these are related to humanities. Okay, يعني سامي الإنسانية. So you have to ask your supervisor which style. They are the same, generally they are the same, but there are slight differences between them, and you have to see the differences. Because when you are discussed by the teachers, for example, I will ask you which style you follow. Which style? Or Dr. Haider may ask you which style. Because, for example, here, documentation, when you document in this page, different from this page. So which style? Okay, you have to be consistent. Consistency is very important. To stick on one thing. Okay, not this way, different ways. No, just one way. You have to take this way and go this way. Go straight. Here general information, writing your paper. انشرها لكم هاي بالكلاس. Writing your paper, okay? Here we have certain points. Write main points about each section to support your work, okay? You have to write main points, and I explain this. Number 2, don't quote unless necessary. Don't quote, otherwise paraphrase. And you know quotation. Quotation, it means that you take something as it is, okay? Something as it is, without any change. For example, Obama said, yes, we can. Okay? Yes, we can. This is directly. Yes, we can. Obama said, yes, we can. This is directly. This is what we mean by quotation. Taking something, when you take something from a book as it is, without any change. This is what we mean by quotation. So when you write your research paper here, you have to be careful. Don't take as it is. Just copy and paste. Okay? Quotation is what? Is important, and you can use quotation when you feel that if you change the words, you feel that it will be different. It will be poor, different from the original. In this case, you have to quote. Otherwise, you have to paraphrase. And you know paraphrase, how to paraphrase. Okay, you have to use different words and different structures. And you studied this in second stage with me, I remember, with reading comprehension. Okay? So when you take something from the book, don't copy and paste. You can copy and paste and draft. Okay, when you take notes, copy and paste. Okay, but when you write, try to what? To paraphrase. I usually advise my students, you write as it is. Okay, copy and paste. When you finish writing your paper, when the teacher tells you that, okay, now it is finished, you can paraphrase, and when you feel that things are not in need of paraphrasing, need to be quoted, it's okay. This is my way with my students. Ask your professor, ask your supervisor, what shall I do? Do you want me to paraphrase immediately or after finishing my research paper? It's up to your supervisor. Number 3, there should be coherence in your paragraphs. There should be coherence when you write paragraphs. First paragraph should be related to the second, and the second to the first, third. There should be coherence, smooth, and logical move between what? Between them. Okay? For example, when you write something about grammar in the first paragraph, for example, you talk about phonetics, definition of phonetics. In the second paragraph, something should be related to the first. Not you have to write, for example, you said about literature, poetry, for example, or novels, or you write about grammar in second paragraph. These are different here. There is no coherence. So there should be coherence between paragraphs. There should be smooth move, and logical move. Logical and smooth move between the paragraphs. Should be related. Each paragraph should be related to each other. And this is very important. When you move between paragraphs, you have to use discourse markers. For example, moreover, in addition to that. Okay? However, although, besides, according, you have to use discourse markers. You can Google them. What are the discourse markers? Number 5, when you take something here, when you start writing, when you take something, for example, I take here, for example, from this book, what roles are native English speakers expected to play? I want to take this. Here we have language, authority, cultural informant, model English speaker. When I want to take this, for example, from this book, whether it is here printed or PDF, I can take it. I can go to the page 69. Okay, here in this way we have in-text reference, how to document, how to cite someone. Okay, who is the writer? The writer G. Hart. Okay, G. Hart at the beginning here. Then after the title page, you have to go and check which year here, 2009. Page 69. So here I have two choices, two options, which is either at the beginning or at the end of paragraph. For example, you, or for example, G. Hart, which year, 2009, which page, 69, okay, says or classifies, okay, or points out that we have 3 roles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is in this way. Okay, as here, Yule, 2010, page here, the page, you see here, comma, page, full stop. You have to leave space here. Okay, says semantics is the study of the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences. Full stop. This is quotation marks. It means that I take something as it is without any change when I finish. Okay. Or you have second option, or you can do in this way. Or semantics is the study of the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences. You you have to open here, practice, Yule, comma, space, 2010, comma, space, P, full stop, space, page. You see, this is, okay. This is in-text reference. In-text inside, okay, inside in the body. When you write something, when you write definition, characteristic, each paragraph should be documented. Each paragraph should be documented. Okay. For here, number 6, if a group of writers, sometimes you read 4, 10 sources. For example, definition of phonetics. You find all of them are similar. Don't take one. Don't take one. You take one and okay, that's enough. You take one. Okay, this is because they are similar. No. You have to write in this way. For example, if a group of writers agree upon an idea, you can join them together. For example, Mustafa 2022. Okay. Page 4, Sajjad, Noor, Ali, and Umaymeh. Okay? Agree. Think. Believe. All of them agree. Why you use all these sources? Here you want to show to the reader that I have read all these sources and I have found that all of them are similar. All of them agree. Okay? And instead of writing here one source, you have joined how many sources? 4 or 5 or 6 sources. Okay, so don't use only one source and that's enough. No, you have to join them. For example, think, believe that language is a means of communication. This is for example. If disagreement, sometimes you read a lot of sources and you find they are not in line with each other. So in this case, you have to what? You can write in this way. That, for example, Zahra disagrees or is not in line with Muhammad. That pragmatics is so. For example, Fatima disagrees with Ali, Bashar, etc. That here these 3 points very important. When sometimes you don't want to complete, you feel that it's enough to stop. You write something and you feel that the rest يعني بقية, the rest of the words are not important. You have to put 3 stops. 1, 2, 3. You see here? Very important. In literature, it is preferred to make footnotes, endnotes. Okay, those who write in literature, okay, it is preferred to make endnotes or footnotes. Both of them, you can. I mean, here, those who are writing writing linguistics or literature, both of them, they can follow this, but sometimes your supervisor, especially those who are specialized in literature, ask their students to follow this style. For example, to write notes instead of opening brackets, write the name, the last name. For example, my name is Muhammad Hussein Hamza. Hamza, take the last name, year, and page. And instead of this, you have to write 1. Second paragraph, for example, 2, 3, 4. And at the end of the chapter, for example, the first chapter or first section, you have to have endnote. You write the same information here. The name, year, page. And at the end, for example, references or bibliography, قامة مراجع, you can write full details. Okay? Here I have given you example. Footnote and bibliography. See here. Dr. Haida will talk about this. Here, types of quotations. As I said, we can quote and we can paraphrase. Here we have 2 types of quotations, very important. Short quotation, less than 4 lines. If you have less than 4 lines, okay, or APA style, less than 40 words. Short quotation, you have to put quotation marks. Sorry. Okay? More than 40 words, you can count your words. مو تحسبن 1, 2, 3 by using Word. Okay, Microsoft. بس ضللهن. Make them bold. Okay. Capital A. Count the number of the words. More than 4, they will what? They should be in long or block quotation. For example, you see here. This is long quotation. My line mouse. I showed it. This is long quotation. You see, when you double space, when you put long quotation, you have to leave half inch from left, half inch. واضحة بالوورد كل ندني. If you need something, just Google it on, okay, write it on YouTube. How to, for example, make long quotation, to make indentation with references. See, half inch and double space should be double space, long quotation. Okay. This is what? This is short quotation here. You see, Johnson found that you see, Johnson found that the normal, okay, this is quotation, and here quotation, here the year. When you write quotation, you have to. It is preferred to put the page at the end. So okay, no problem to put the only page here after Johnson or at the end. No problem. Without that, okay. This is the load. See, no quotation. Look, you have to leave half inch. You see half inch, double space, quotation. Very important when you write quotation, you have to write it in this way. General notes, we will finish with this. General notes, when you write here, use Times New Roman. Times New Roman يعني اللي يكون نسميه احنا يعني اللي يكون الخط Times New Roman font. Okay, size 14. حجم مالتك كلمات 14, not 20. Okay, not 10. You have four major sections. The title page, abstract, main body, and references. Okay. صابينا مرة خلاص صاب مرة ثانية بعد. مو مصطفى. Number 3. Okay, so number 3, when you cite someone, this is just a little difference how to differentiate between the different styles. For example, this is very important. This point is very, very important. When you cite someone who cited from someone else, okay? When you cite someone who cited from someone else, for example, I go to this book and found in this book, for example, his name is Mali and Daf here. For example, they defined technology in this book. But the writer of the book is Jeb Hart. And here, others. How can I cite them? This way. When you cite someone who cited from someone else, you, depending on the style, write as cited, or QTD, or quoted. As cited, APA style, as cited. QTD, هذا بالأمالي style. QTD, as quoted. Okay? For example, Ibrahim, 2039. Okay? هذا بعد يعني 30 سنة. مو 19 سنة. As cited in كرار. إبراهيم جعفري مثلا. Okay? As cited in كرار. يعني هو من هو الأصل؟ إبراهيم. Okay? إبراهيم قالها. إبراهيم الأصل. بس انت وين لقيتها؟ you find it in كرار. Okay? شلون سماله؟ you find it in this book. إذا شلت أنت مثلا جبت كرار، قلت كرار، قال هو not كرار. It is what? إبراهيم. Okay? إبراهيم. as cited in Kerrar 2040, says life is not life unless life becomes life. This is philosophical. Ibrahim Jafari is philosophical. Okay, so it says that life is not life unless life becomes life. Okay, so who is the writer here? Who says this? Ibrahim says this. It's very important. Number 4. Number 4. Use bibliography or reference or works cited page. See, depending on the style, just the name here. At the end of your research, after conclusion, you have to write this and you have to write the details. Dr. Haidar will explain this. 5. In abstract, when you write abstract, the last step is to write in abstract, not at the beginning. Yes, it is written at the beginning. It is, okay, at the beginning, but the last step. Write a summary of your research. Summarize the ideas of your research, your hypotheses, results, conclusions. Okay. Introduction. You should include in your introduction the problem, the aim of the study, some prominent previous studies. Okay, what is the aim, the problem, and your introduction. In conclusion, write what you have concluded throughout your research. As I told you, these are general information, okay, not in detail. You can go to Google and you can Google everything. Write what you have concluded throughout your research, okay? Number 6, don't give your opinion. When you write, don't give your opinion unless prompted by your supervisor. Don't give your opinion. Sometimes they want to write their opinion. I want to write. I want to criticize. Okay. So sometimes someone says that here we have definitions of phonetics. I want to define phonetics. Okay. Still. Okay. Be patient. In the future, you will write.
So opinions has no scientific basis. Okay. When you're writing a research paper, you should write scientifically, and you should have basis from science. Okay. And the citations, the resources, bibliographies, they are already have been established, okay, proved. So you came and take from them to support your ideas. But if you want, for example, to write something, as Mr. Muhammad said, that you want to define phonetics, that means you are a theorist. You will be a scientific. Okay, or you will be a scientist by yourself if you want to define something.
A linguist.
This is from theory, so you should be theorist, and this should be supported by many theories to be proved. So don't give your opinions without coming back to your supervisor. Is your opinion right, supported by some scientific resources or not? This is a very important point. Don't say something in your research that it is very weak, okay, because in the results your research paper is going to be weak. Sometimes your idea is right, but it needs a lot of studies to be established. Okay, this is a very important point. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, good. So whenever you write something, when you have a paragraph, for example, and this paragraph has no documentation, it means that who is the writer? It means you. Okay? When we have a paragraph and this paragraph has no documentation, no citation, it means you wrote it. Okay? You stole it. If we want to say it in this way. Number 7, don't copy and paste, as I said, without paraphrasing.
By the way, Mr. Muhammad, sorry for interruption. There is a concept called plagiarism.
Yes.
Okay.
This is number 8. Don't plagiarize. Yes.
Okay.
Talk about
when you stole someone's ideas, someone's opinions, someone's writings, and say it's your own. This is a plagiarism. It is stolen from scientific. Okay. يعني السرقة العلمية نسميها، احنا باللغة العربية نتحايل عليها نسميها الاستلال. هي مو استلال. المعنى الحقيقي لها السرقة العلمية. When you take someone's idea and say it's your own, okay? You outside of Iraq, and right now there is something in constitutions in Iraq. You are going to face a court, okay, directly, trials. So don't make it at all.
Okay, good. Thank you, doctor. This is number 8. Dr. Haida talked about this. Don't plagiarize. Okay. Number 9, you can use tables, figures, okay, to shapes, whatever. You can use them, no problem. Uh, Number 10, always referred to in the paper appear on the reference page, listed alphabetically by author or title. Okay, very important. When you write, for example, you have page, for example, this is a paper. You have 5 sources: Ahmed, Zahar, Ali, Ibtihar. In the last page, cited page, there should be what? Ahmed, Ali, at what? At the reference page, at work cited page. Should be mentioned in detail. Their book, name, I mean, year, publisher. See? Revise and edit your works. Okay, to revise and edit. Avoid too much EBIT. This is EBIT according to some style that you use EBIT, okay, or APA style. You just repeat the same writer. EBIT, it means that sometimes when you go to this book, you find this book. For example, here, how can teachers explore through a teacher journal? You feel that it is to the point, to your topic, and you feel that it's very important. Don't write there. Write this paragraph, then write this paragraph from the same author again and again, the same author, the same author, the same author. 2 or 3 pages from the same author. No, this is wrong. It means that just copy and paste. You have to vary, to use different sources. Okay, this is what we mean by avoid too much EBIT. The same sources. Avoid. Try to show to your reader that you have read different sources, you have joined them, you put them in a good way, in a well-formed way, organized way, and you make coherence between them. It's very important. And last point, ask your professor. You have supervisor. Ask him. Don't go home and sleep. Ask him. Ask about anything you don't know. You go to him. Okay. Ask him. Speak with him. What can I do? What shall I do? I want to look for sources. I want to write, etc. Okay. How to make reference? Dr. Haidar will talk about this point, and when Dr. Haidar finishes, I will show you something practical. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for you, Mr. Muhammad. I want first